The San Francisco 49ers are coming off of one of the worst seasons in recent memory, going 6-11. And my job in today's Madden 25 rebuild is get them back to hoisting the Lombardi trophy. But my route there might be a bit unique and controversial. Now, the first thing I want to do is take a look at the roster and see what holes we need to fill. We have a lot of key decisions to make with some of the older players on our team. Trent Williams kind of already forced our hand with one of them. He retired. So we're going to have to find a new left tackle replacement for him, which is definitely not going to be easy as he's one of the best players in the entire league. But we do have a Brock Purdy contract decision coming up as well. I'm hoping that we don't have to pay him a ton of money because I do think Purdy's a good quarterback, but paying him $50-$55 million a year, I guess in real life, I would say is a little bit hard to do if you want to build a championship team. So hopefully we can get a good contract for him. But running back, we have Christian McCaffrey, who I think he's just not there because he was injured this season in the starting position. But I do think we need to try and find a way to probably trade McCaffrey before his value just diminishes completely. And if we are going to target Ashton Jeanty in the draft, it does not make sense to keep both of these running backs on our team. Now, I do like Ricky Pearsall, although he is only normal dev. But Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, I think one of these receivers we should make expendable this offseason. George Kittle, another player who's getting up there in age, still one of the best players in the game. But do we want to keep him long-term either or kind of sell high on his value? And then defensively, of course, there's some studs like Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. But again, there are some more holes like on the rest of the defensive line. We have a lot of free agents as well. Dre Greenlaw, Hufanga, even Charvarius Ward. There's a lot of players we have to potentially bring back and sign to extensions this offseason. So we have a lot of work to do. And let's get into the players we got to sign. I thought we maybe had 1 year left on Deebo's deal, but I guess we don't. And I'm not going to pay him $44 million, so I'm actually going to let him walk. Charvarius Ward has no interest in coming back. I'll give him a neutral deal, just I guess a player-friendly one, a 2-year contract. If he wants to come back, I will take him, and he's going to come back. So that's pretty good to hold down that cornerback spot. Hufanga is still in the prime of his career. I'll offer him a 4-year deal as well. He's going to come back for us. Dre Greenlaw is 28 years old. I want to give him a contract, but again, not super long term. Probably a 4-year deal is fine if he will accept that. He will. And now we're already down to $64 million in cap space. Jordan Mason can leave. Elijah Mitchell can leave. Aaron Banks is an okay offensive lineman. He's pretty cheap as well. I guess we can bring back Aaron Banks. I mean, he's just not very expensive. He can hold down maybe a starting spot for us again. He's actually going to test free agency. So I think outside of that, we're kind of fine with letting all these other players leave. We're going to go into free agency with $64 million, and we'll see if we can get any other blue chip players potentially in the free agent market. And yeah, really the first year of free agency, kind of with these Madden rebuilds with kind of just the same players always hitting free agency, it's not super good. I think we could potentially offer Javon Holland a contract. I mean, Jair Brown is pretty good, only 25 years old, but so is Javon Holland, and he's 6 overalls better. Would patch a hole on this team. I think we can give him a player-friendly deal, see if he will accept. He does have a ton of interest in coming to San Francisco, but I think that might be the only move we try and make. I guess Trent Brown here, he has a lot of interest. We won't have to overpay him a ton. I'll offer him a 2-year deal, kind of expensive, but I think we're going to try that for now just to hold down one of those positions. And I think that's all we're going to do here in free agency. We'll see if we can lock up these 2 players. Trent Brown has not signed with anybody yet, but we did get Javon Holland, which is cool. I added some money for Trent Brown. We did get him to sign, so that's 2 pretty big players to bring in. And now I think I'm going to work the trade market a little bit and see what value we can get back. I think I really like this trade from the Denver Broncos. Nick Bonito, one of the best pass rushers in the league, for CMC basically straight up, and then a ton of other picks. I might try and get their first rounder and just get rid of all those day 3 selections and see if we can kind of work something out there. We'll see how close this is. And okay, so we'll probably have to throw in like a 3rd rounder, get the trade done. The Broncos were kind of annoying to get this trade done with, but we gave up McCaffrey a 3rd, 4th, 7th, and 6th for Bonito and their 1st round pick. I really like this move for us. Now, I was really thinking about trading George Kittle, but I think I'm just going to hold on to him for now. I don't want to make this super unrealistic getting rid of the better players on the 49ers team, but I do think that's kind of the right decision at 31 years old to go ahead and get all the value you can for him. So a little bit of regret here, but I'm going to go ahead and move on to the NFL draft. We're going to see what we can do. And looking at the mock drafts, there should not be a team ahead of us that takes Ashton Jeanty, so he should be in our range. And then around pick 20 as well, we're probably going to try and land either a defensive lineman or an offensive tackle. And we are on the clock now with the 11th overall pick. I've already made it clear Jeanty is going to be the selection. And now we're going to get probably one of the best players in the draft, number 6 in true value. He is hidden dev, of course. 94 speed, 97 acceleration. This guy's a stud. And now here at pick 20, there are a lot of players I really like still on the board. Walter Nolan, probably my number 1 choice out of Ole Miss. Surprised he's actually still here. But I mean, there is a good tight end, Colston Loveland, if we wanted to move off of George Kittle. Malachi Starks, he is somehow here at number 20. He's probably one of the better players in the entire draft. Even a pretty good receiver in Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. Siobhan Rebel, a good cornerback prospect. Really, really interesting, but I think we have to go with the best player on the board. And that is going to be Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss. We need some help to beef up the interior of our defensive line. I do think Starks or Loveland could be just a fun pick, but I'm going to go Walter Nolan here from Ole Miss, and hopefully he can help us out in the trenches. He's 19 in true value, so still pretty good pick. Hidden dev, 88 strength, 84 acceleration. We're going to take that. And still on the board here is Malachi Starks in the second round. This is like a drop-off of when Brian Branch fell out of the first round. I'm so tempted to take him here. We just do not need a safety, but he is so good. I do think Josh Connerly from Oregon is a really fun player, and Ursary. These are guys that are borderline first-round prospects. I mean, Connerly has some really good metrics. I think he's going to be a beast in this draft class simulation. I think we probably go offensive line here. Try and take Connerly, but man, Starks would be such a fun player. But we just don't really need safety, so we're going to take Connerly here. Hopefully he turns out to be pretty good. He's 81 in true value. He is hidden dev, though, 84 strength. 6'4", 315 pounds, has a nice build, but not great in terms of the value of the draft. And I'm sorry, but I'm really petty. I just can't see Malachi Starks still on the board and not go after him. I'm trading away Javon Holland. I know we just signed him, but I'm trading him and a couple of day 3 picks to get the Cowboys selection, the very next pick. Kind of a crazy move. Don't know if this has ever happened in NFL history, but we're doing it today for Malachi freaking Starks. One of the best players in this draft, making big time moves. Number 8 in true value. I mean, this guy is just a stud. 96 jumping, 93 speed, 95 acceleration. You just have to make the move. And the draft recap is absolutely unbelievable. Jeanty's an 80 overall. We have Walter Nolan here, a 76. Connerly, not great at a 72, but the Malachi Starks, a 79 overall player. He's basically already as good as Holland, but he's younger, cheaper. I actually just can't get over how good of a draft this is. We're going to be set up now heading into the future. And here is a look at our roster heading into really year number 1 of this rebuild. The offense, I feel like, looks pretty good. And then defensively, I did sign Calais Campbell just to be a starter instead of Leonard Floyd, who's only a 74 overall. But I mean, we have stars on defense. We have some young talent now with Nolan and Starks. I really like how this unit looks. Probably draft or sign one more key player on the defensive line next year. And I think the defense is pretty much complete. And then the offense, really just depth and then a couple of linemen, and we probably should have the best roster hands down. But through the midseason point, we are 5-1, coming off of a 14-6 win against the Jags, and it looks like kind of our offense and defense are both cooking. We do have some big players to sign, and that is starting with Brock Purdy and Nick Bonito, also George Kittle. We have a few players to sign and not a ton of money, so this might get a little bit scary. But Purdy, we're going to offer him a 6-year deal, a ton of money, only $7 million left in salary cap. And he likes it, but not going to accept it right away. It's interesting. But the thing about Bonito and Kittle, we can probably restructure contracts to maybe get Bonito back. But Kittle, he's probably going to be gone. We don't really have the money, and I don't think I really want to pay him a ton either as a 32-year-old player at the end of this season. And in our first season, we go 12-5. We won the division, the number 2 seed in the NFC playoffs. So actually a really successful season for us. We've got our division rivals, the Seattle Seahawks, in round 1. And if we win that game, probably like the Cowboys or Buccaneers in the divisional. But here we are in Santa Clara, and it looks like we're starting off with the football, going to bring it right down the field, score 7. Really early. Seattle is struggling to actually score some points here, but late in the second quarter, they're going to tie it up, and now heading into halftime, it's 7-7. Not really a ton going on here. I want to hop in just for a play and just kind of see what the offense is looking like. We've already got Jeanty with a star under his name. Ayuk, Kittle, of course, Purdy. Let's try and get Jeanty a touch here and see how he looks, and actually he's just not going to run his route, so we're going to hit Juwan Jennings here for a first down on 3rd and 10. Huge play. But now in the red zone, can we capitalize with the touchdown? And we can. It's 14-7. It must have been another turnover. 21-7. Looks like Seattle's in desperation mode. And I think that's going to be it. We're going to take them down at home and move on to the division around 24-7. So pretty good win for us. Win yet another playoff game. And this week, it is the historic rivalry. The Dallas Cowboys are coming to San Francisco. And I won't lie to you, the Cowboys have been getting kind of dominated recently in this matchup. But they start off 7-0. And it looks like they're going to put up more points. 14-0, we finally answer. But our defense is really struggling to stop Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and their offense. 17-14 again, though the Cowboys are moving at 24-14. And we're struggling on the defensive side of the football. Our offense is trying to keep us alive, 27-21. Let's hop in here and watch Purdy try to operate with 3.5 minutes to go roughly, trying to bring us down the field to take the lead. We've got a motion man here, Ashton Jeanty, little play action. Purdy's going to fire to the sideline as George Kittle for a huge gain. Maybe his last game as a 49er? Very well could be, with his contract expiring fairly soon. But here we go, Purdy and empty again, firing in the middle of the field. It's held onto by Ayuk. Empty formation again. We still haven't seen Jeanty get a touch yet. I can't wait to check his stats after the season is over. But Purdy's going to fire again to Kittle, another first down. And now inside the 15-yard line, do we see Jeanty get a carry here? We do not. But he's open in the flat. It's going to be fired again to our backup tight end, and he's going to rumble forward for a touchdown. We're going to take the lead. Now the Cowboys are already somehow near midfield. 2-minute warning. Dak is leading a legacy drive here. Firing to the middle of the field. Oh my goodness. We might get the ball back. Jake Ferguson was wide open up the sideline there. I don't know what our defense is doing. Now they're just going to try and run it, take off some clock. There's going to be a flag, though. Could that be holding? They did get Tyler Smith for holding, so we still do have 3 timeouts to stop the clock. We just can't allow a first down on 1st and 20. Here's the running back up the middle. He's going nowhere. Looks like Tajay Spears somehow is a Cowboy now. 2nd and 19 for Dak. Another run up the middle. There's another flag. And it's another holding penalty on the Cowboys. The refs have 49ers money line. And now they're like almost on the border of field goal range. I mean, they do have Brandon Aubrey. I think probably the best kicker in the league. But here we go. Another run up the middle. This time a few yards. But now the Cowboys are kind of just playing for a field goal. And then Brock Purdy, with no timeouts, 1.5 minutes to go, is going to have a chance for a legacy drive. He's going to fire here to CeeDee Lamb. He holds on well short of the first down. And Aubrey, I think one of the highest rated kickers in Madden, he's going to come on to a try like a 40-yarder, and it's up, and it is good. Cowboys take the lead. And oh my goodness, Purdy just took a sack from Micah Parsons, and now it's 3rd and 19. He's under some pressure again. Purdy's going to fire it, and he threw it away. And this Cowboys defense, with their pass rush, pinning their ears back and getting after Purdy. He's going to launch one deep here to Ayuk. He has him. It's broken up. He had Ayuk. And that's going to be the game. The Dallas Cowboys walked into San Francisco, and they're going to send us home. Pretty disappointing end of the season. On the season, Brock Purdy basically had an MVP year. 47 touchdowns, 4,300 yards. Yeah, he deserved that contract. On the ground, Jeanty, only 951 yards. We might have to change the scheme to kind of utilize him more because this doesn't make sense. The 49ers are a running team primarily with the Shanahan offense, so that's kind of interesting. But Ayuk had a monster season, 1,600 yards and 22 touchdowns. Kittle didn't even have that great of a year, so he definitely lost some money in free agency. The offensive line had to perform. Connerly really struggled at left tackle, but defensively, looks like we are all right. Bosa only had 7 sacks. Benito had 4. I want to see how our rookies did. Nolan had 2.5 sacks, only 15 tackles. Kind of a disappointing year. And interceptions-wise, Starks had 3, 68 tackles. Pretty good season from our rookie safety. But the Green Bay Packers won the Super Bowl, and Brandon Ayuk, he did take home Offensive Player of the Year, so that's cool, but no MVP love for Purdy. And now here are the players that we do have to re-sign. We have $21 million now. Some of those other contracts that we traded away, kind of the check is clearing. But I want Benito. He has no interest in returning. We need him, though. He's a pillar on our defense. We roughly need $6 million. So I'm probably going to restructure maybe Brock Purdy's contract and then try and go all in on Benito. So Purdy here, restructure. It's going to free up $16 million in cap space. And now that should give us the opportunity to bring back Benito and actually have some flexibility to maybe even sign Kittle back if we really wanted to. So very player-friendly deal. We really can't do much better than this. $14.5 million bonus. Come on, Benito. He's going to test free agency. Okay, that sucks, but we are going to have to just franchise tag him. So $28 million to Benito for this one season, but I'm not risking him going to free agency if he's not going to accept a very player-friendly deal. he's probably not going to re-sign with us anyway. And Kittle wants a 3-year deal. We need around $10 million to bring him back. And so to get back Kittle, we're going to have to restructure Nick Bosa as well and save $14 million. This is really dicey because in the coming years, we're really going to have like no cap space, but I'm trying to keep the band together. We have like a 2-year window, I would say, after this year. So Kittle, I'm going to offer you this 3-year deal. We're still going to have $5 million in cap room. He's going to return, so that's good. And I also forgot to show the progression, but Brock Purdy's up to a 96 overall superstar X Factor, and Ayuk with his crazy season is as well. Jeanty's already up to an 87 superstar. The offensive line, the interior is really rough. We might have to go out and sign one player kind of for like the vet minimum to just step in there. Defensively, Starks is a superstar, and then Nolan is only a star, but I mean, the defense looks incredible. We just have to find a way to lock up Benito long term, but it's not going to be easy. And then right end is also a hole. Hargrave is getting up there in age as well. So either a right end or something in the interior offensive line going to be our one addition in free agency, I think. I guess our one move is going to try and get Dylan Redunds on a 2-year deal, kind of the only thing we have money for. There are some pretty good players in free agency, but again, we just do not have the cap space to go after any of these players. But we did get Redunds. He's probably going to start for us at right guard, and now we're going to have to draft a center in the first couple of rounds. And the draft board's kind of looking rough for us here at the bottom of the first round. Not really any players that we could use. I don't think I want to take Malik Winthrop here, who's the 41st player, and yeah, his physicals are really bad. I wanted the center, but he's not that good, not worth a first-round pick. I think it's this defensive tackle. I know we took one in Walter Nolan, but Hargrave is getting up there in age. Maybe he can move outside. I mean, he's very, very athletic. Great speed, great strength. I just think he's probably the best player on the board, so we're going to draft him here. And 73 in true value. He is hidden dev 91 strength, but looks like a solid pick, but nothing special. Here in round 2, looks like the best center on the board, fits our scheme well, which is kind of that zone blocking scheme. So Rick Jordan, going to draft you, and we'll see how good he is. Hopefully he can fill our need, and he's 71 in true value. He is hidden dev, though, 84 strength, 85 acceleration. Should be a plug-and-play starter for us. I'm going to take a fun pick here. This wide receiver, 6'1", 177 pounds. He's got great speed, elite acceleration, 4.38 40. We'll see if this guy can be like our Xavier Worthy. And he was 131 in true value. He is hidden dev, but 94 acceleration, 93 speed. And the draft recap, I won't lie, is a little bit rough. A 72 overall Daniel Cook, a 72 overall center. And then our receiver we took is a 68 overall. I want to see who the best players were in this draft, but yeah, definitely not super good for us compared to last year's class. So honestly, not a great draft. I was looking at one of these tight ends potentially. It looks like for this class, I might have done okay. Not a great draft, but hopefully we can still fill some of those holes and have a deep playoff run this year. And here's the roster heading into year number 2. There definitely is some flaws. We need another receiver. We probably could use another right guard on offense. But we have star players all over the field. On defense, we're even more loaded with star players. Obviously could use another right end, but that's kind of the only weak spot with 2 young and ascending defensive tackles in the fold. But our overall definitely did dip a little bit this year. I think it's slightly because of like fullback. It's kind of taking us down on offense. But we do need to find another receiver next offseason. We might have to spend our first round pick on it because we don't really have a ton of money to spend. And through the midseason point, we are 5-2, but we do have some concerns coming up because there's a lot of players we got to sign. Fred Warner, Nick Benito, of course, Jair Brown, and Charvarius Ward all are free agents after this season. So it is getting very tough to kind of keep this team together. We obviously have to bring back Fred Warner and Benito. I don't really know if that's going to be possible because they're both wanting absolutely huge extensions. The thing though is Benito has no interest in playing for us. So I wonder if we could maybe try and trade him away. And Charvarius Ward, I already started to kind of see his market as well. I don't love trading away some of the better players on our team, but at this point, we kind of have to. And I think the first trade we're going to have to make is getting a second, third, and Marcus Embo from the Arizona Cardinals, and we're going to ship off Benito, who is on his franchise tag, to make that trade go through. The reason I'm doing that is because Trent Brown is also, I believe, like on one of the last years of his deal. It looks like Brown does have some value in terms of his contract. We might just try and kind of get rid of it. I think Jonathan Brooks makes a lot of sense, a backup running back, and he has no salary owed to him whatsoever. So we're going to actually save a ton of money doing that. And then Charvarius Ward as well. I don't think we're going to bring him back. So Why don't we try and trade him away and get some value while we can? DJ Turner is a solid option in return. But I think the best trade for Ward here is getting Shamar Stewart, another young player and a couple of picks from the Raiders. So I'm going to take this as well. We freed up a ton of cap space, but the team definitely takes a hit for just this season. Probably should have thought about some of this earlier before really extending some of these players, but we do find a way to get off them while they still had some value. But we kind of like remade the entire team at the deadline. We get a pretty solid, cheap backup running back. We get a new starting right tackle who's basically as good as Trent Brown, but a lot cheaper. And then defensively, we bring in a long-term option at right end. And now we'll have enough money to sign Fred Warner for the next couple of years, but we're going to have to find a right outside linebacker and maybe another corner this offseason, but this gives us a lot more flexibility to kind of do things. A slight step back this year. We went 11-6, but we still won the division. We're still hosting a playoff game. The Eagles went 16-1. I think we played them. We might be the one team that beat them this year. Let's take a look. And yeah, we did. 34-28 against the Eagles, the only team to beat them in the regular season. That's kind of cool. But honestly, all things considered, shaking up the roster that much, getting rid of some really good players on our team to still go 11-6, be the number 3 seed, that's a pretty good crowning achievement there. Let's see if we can handle the young Chicago Bears. It's 7-0, and it looks like they're going to answer 7 apiece as we end the first quarter, and we're going to take the lead with the Bears. They're kind of killing our defense, which lost pretty good pieces, and the Bears once again moving it down the field. Nothing before half, but it's 14-10. In the fourth quarter, let's again step in here and see if we can get Jeanty a touch. I don't think I've still seen what he looks like on this team yet. And there's Jeanty. Let's throw it down to him. He's going to pick up that first down in Jeanty. Look at the speed. And now officially in the red zone, we are going to take the lead, 14-17. As always, we're going to hop in here and see if our defense with Fred Warner, Nick Bosa can get a stop. 3 minutes to go against Caleb Williams, trying to get his first playoff win, I believe, of this rebuild. Now 2nd and 8, Caleb again passing, and he's going to run for this. Nobody's near him. He's going to slide, though, before the first down. We've got a big 3rd down here. I think the Bears would probably go for it, although they do have all 3 timeouts, but Caleb's dropping back to throw again. He's got the check down, but Fred Warner swoops in and make one hell of a tackle. And the Bears are, in fact, going to go for it. So this is pretty much the ball game here. It's going to be a run up the middle, and he's short. What a play from Fred Warner again. I think we might have went for it on 4th and 1, did not get it, and the Bears are once again at our 35-yard line, and that was almost picked. I don't know how he didn't just ice the game, kick a field goal, or even pin him deep. They now have the ball at the 39 again, and Caleb has another chance. Under pressure here, another big hit, and officially here. This is the ball game. Caleb is dropping back. He still can't find anybody. He's going to run for it. Can we get a tackle? Ray Greenlaw got him, but he's a little bit past the line. But the Bears don't have any timeouts. This is going to be the last play of the game. They're not going to be able to get in field goal range. Caleb dropping back under some pressure, and he's going to be taken down and sacked by Shamar Stewart, who we traded for. And what an ending to this game. We are back in the division round, but this time on the road to play against the Detroit Lions, the number 2 seed at Ford Field. That's going to be tough. We will see if Brock Purdy can get it done for us, starting off with a touchdown, 7-0. But our young defense, losing some key vets at the trade deadline, struggling on their first possession, but 10-7, 14-10, just like that. And the Lions are looking to add to their lead here as we approach the end of the third quarter. Still 10-17 in the fourth, and we're going to have to go for it. We got it, 17-17, but the Lions are moving it right down the field. And we're using some timeouts. It's 24-7. I guess let me hop in here with Purdy and this offense and see if we can go down the field and score some points. I see Ayuk across the middle of the field here. A beautiful little dime. He hold on to it. No huddle. Gotta hurry up, though. Only 1 timeout. We don't have all day to run these motions, but, the Shanahan offense loves it. And I'm going to try and throw this little comeback route incomplete. Let's try it again here on 2nd and 10. George Kittle across the middle of the field. He's going to hold on. It's broken up. That's the one thing that's tough about this team right now. We don't have many nice weapons on the outside when we get into these key drop back passing situations. But across the middle of the field, here's Crowning, and somehow he held on to it. I'm going to burn that timeout right around the 35. Couple of completions, hopefully get out of bounds for one of them. I like Pearsall here on this little corner route. He held on to it, and Pearsall is in the end zone. But we find ourselves here in overtime. There is a rule where if we do score a touchdown, the Lions still get a chance to answer. So we can't end the game on this drive, but it would be nice to put the pressure on them, and Purdy underneath here to Jeanty for 2 yards. I would not feel very good if the Lions force us to go 3 and out and get the ball back with their high-powered offense. This is a big play here from Purdy. Dropping back, Aiden Hutchinson pushing the pile. Purdy's going to fire, and it's caught by George Kittle up the sideline. And now approaching the red zone, another key 3rd down here. Purdy under pressure, fires to Jeanty. First down, 49ers. I want to see if we can get Jeanty in the end zone. His first carry I believe we've seen, and he's going nowhere. 2nd and 10 now. Another carry this time. Jeanty got a little bit of traction there for 5, but another key 3rd down. Purdy's been able to move the chains after move the chains. Can he do it again here? Inside the red zone. I see Jeanty wide open. He's going to fire underneath. It's caught to Pearsall. And now in the I formation. Let's try and get Jeanty a touchdown here, guys. Can we do it? Have an offensive lineman coming in motion. And it's going to be a handoff to Jeanty. He jumps over the pile. Touchdown. And it is over. We stopped the Lions on defense, and it's 31-24. We're moving on to the NFC Championship game after a crazy win. And we got another showdown in the NFC Championship game against the Green Bay Packers. They upsetted the 16-1 Eagles 48-45. And because of that upset, we are playing at home, which is a pretty big advantage in the NFC Championship game. 7-0 early. The Packers on 3rd down are going to answer 7-7 as we approach the end of the first half, 14-7. And last play of the half, they couldn't score. So pretty good hold from our defense there, but it's 14-14 as we approach the 4th quarter. The Packers take the lead, 4th and 1. We got a touchdown. Looking to take the lead here. If they pick up this first down, we're going to have to start using timeouts. And it's going to be Jordan Love on a read option, and he did not get it. He's short. And the Packers are going to take their points, take the 3-point lead here. We'll see if Brock Purdy has another game-winning drive in him here in the playoffs. We already find ourselves around the 30-yard line. We're already pretty much in field goal range. Purdy underneath the Jeanty, it's going to be dropped. I think probably 5 more yards is comfortable field goal range, but why not go for a touchdown here? We're going to run it? What is Kyle Shanahan doing? Why would we run that on 2nd down when a touchdown wins us the game? Just doesn't make much sense. And it's going to be another run here to Jeanty. This time, though, he does pick up the first down and a bit more Jeanty. He did not get out of bounds, though. We're not going to go for the field goal. What is going on? We're going to snap the football, and that's how we're going to lose. Why didn't we just spike the ball? Madden Sim is so weird. That's how we're going to lose. It's unbelievable. Very tough way to go out, but Purdy still had himself a great year. 4,300 yards, 39 touchdowns. On the ground, Jeanty over 1,000 yards, 15 touchdowns this year, so he did get some more touches. Receiving-wise, Ayuk still killed it, and Jeanty even was amazing in the receiving game. Looks like both of our young tackles really struggled to protect, but defensively, Warner was really, really good. I don't know why I'm paying Nick Bosa so much money for 5.5 sacks. That's kind of frustrating. But picks-wise, 4 for Jair Brown, 3 for Warner, 3 for Starks. Players to re-sign, of course, we still have Fred Warner, $26 million. We do have enough to sign him now. Gonna offer it to him, and he will be back on a 4-year deal. Jair Brown had a really good season for us. I don't know if we have enough money to sign him, though. So only less than $1 million we're away. I could probably restructure one smaller contract and then offer him this deal. I guess I will restructure George Kittle, which we'll dive into our cap a little bit next year, but we're gonna do that now to bring back one of our better young players on our defense. Hopefully he will accept it, and he will. And then Ricky Pearsall, I'm not going to accept his 5th-year option. We still have him on a contract next year. No need to guarantee him a ton of money for his 5th season. Here's a quick look at the team. We do have Kittle regressing. He's down to a 93 overall and only a superstar. I think the offense is pretty much complete outside of one more receiver. And then defensively, I think our defensive line is complete now. I think our linebacking core is still really good. Really just a right outside linebacker, maybe another cornerback for depth, and then a receiver. We should be pretty much good for next year, kind of better. And I just traded next year's 1st-round pick to the Seattle Seahawks because I have a huge target that was about to go with this pick. It's just a big need on our team, and I have him fully scouted. He's an absolute stud. And it is this cornerback hero, Theo Jefferson from SMU. Top 5 talent. This guy's an absolute stud. Man-to-man corner tendency fits us perfectly. And he's the number 2 player in this draft. 92 speed, 94 acceleration, 93 change of direction. I really love this pick. There's actually a great tight end on the board, Justin Clark, here in the middle of the second round. I forgot we actually had another pick. So I'm going to draft Clark here as kind of our tight end too. 108 in true value. Okay, so this guy is not great, but 84 speed, 88 acceleration, 6'6", 240. Maybe we can groom him to be kind of the next George Kittle per se. Going to take an offensive guard the end of the second round. This guy looks to be pretty good. Hidden depth, 87 strength. So our offensive line should be complete now, but we still need another weapon or left outside linebacker. Going to take a flyer on this receiver, Mark Caldwell, the end of the third round. Pretty good physicals, elite acceleration, great speed, 4'3", 640. And another receiver that's not super good. And he is normal dev, but 98 acceleration, 94 speed. We're going to have to find a role for him somewhere. The draft recap is solid. 82 overall for Theo Johnson, 73 overall tight end, and our guard is a 75. But here is what the roster is looking like heading into year number 3. The offensive line looks really, really good. George Kittle, now we have this Clark tight end who's a 75 overall now, hidden dev. Really the weakest unit on our team might be receiver. We still have a superstar X factor in Brandon Ayuk. Ricky Pearsall has emerged as a solid option, but I'm really excited about this defense. The defensive line is really, really stout up front. I moved Connor to left outside linebacker, and he's already fitting in really, really nicely. Jefferson now an 83 overall hidden dev. I think this could be the year we can finally get over the hump. And through the mid-season point, we're 2-5. How does this make any sense whatsoever? Well, we did rally from the 2-5 start to get to 9-8, which is kind of impressive, but still going to be on the road fighting an uphill battle to have a run to the Super Bowl. But this season just doesn't make much sense. I mean, it's the best roster that we have fielded. A ton of really good players across the board, 89 overall. I even see Walter Nolan got a dev trait upgrade. Just we have to take advantage. And even Connor is a superstar as well. The linebacker we got in like round 5. You just have to take advantage of these opportunities when we still have some of these players on rookie deals and other veterans like Warner on Bosa who are only going to be so good for so long. I will say the good news is we ended the season 7-3. So maybe we have some momentum entering these playoffs, but we'll see how the team can kind of answer. And it's really not off to a good start, 14-0. And we're finally going to get on the board here, but our defense just cannot stop the Falcons offense, 17-7. And it doesn't look like this is our time to shine. 24-7 as we approach the fourth quarter. Can we make it a somewhat competitive game and then try and get some points? 24-17. I don't think we've hopped into defense one time, but I'll try and get us a stop here, get the ball back for the CPU. And underneath here, Drake London, 3 yards. 2nd and 7, a run up the middle. Fred Warner completely whiffed on the tackle. And that's going to be all she wrote. A disappointing season ends in a wild card loss. And now we enter another offseason trying to get over the hump. And we do have a lot of players to re-sign. Ashton Jeanty, his 5th-year option, we're going to accept that. Walter Nolan, going to accept his as well. But Dominic Puny, 87 overall, probably one of the best guards in the league. We're going to have to let him walk. We have negative $32 million in cap space. Jonathan Brooks, our backup running back, he's going to be going too. But overall, kind of bringing back the same team next year, but we really got to win it all, take advantage, or we're going to be in big trouble. In the draft, got to address one of our biggest needs. John Rose here from Texas A&M. Round 1 or 2 talent, going to draft him. We need help. And this guy's good, 39 in true value. He is going to be hidden dev, 91 strength. That's a plug-and-play player right there. Quick look at the draft recap. John Rose is a 74 overall. I let the CPU take over the rest of the draft, and they really, really struggled. But I mean, this team is absolutely loaded. The offensive line is still really good. I know we lost Puny, but Rose is going to be a pretty good rookie, hidden dev as well. The receiving core is still just not great. I mean, Pearsall is a solid wide receiver too, but nothing special. And none of the rookies we drafted were any good either. But we have Jeanty, we still have Kittle. The defense is loaded with so much talent. There's not a hold on this defense whatsoever. I tried to change around the playbooks a little bit. Might try to run the Chiefs and Eagles, see if that works at all. And through the midseason point, look at the 49ers go. 5-1, atop of the division, and it looks like everything but our offense is doing good. Not passing for a ton of yards, not scoring a lot, but our defense is dominant. Arizona Cardinals are on our heels for top of the NFC West. And in 2029, we actually have so much cap space, and I think that's because a lot of our key players are up, but hopefully we don't have to sign all these guys worry about those contracts because I want to win it all this year. But what an end of the season for the San Francisco 49ers, going 13-4, by far the best season we've had so far. The best rushing attack in the league, the best defense in the league, and that carried us, I think, to be the #1 seed in the NFC playoffs, and yes, we are, in fact. The offensive scheme change did have Purdy have his lowest numbers of this rebuild, but still a very efficient season. On the ground, Jeanty, 1,500 yards and 13 touchdowns. Receiving-wise, George Kittle this year, running the Chiefs offense, had him featured a ton. On the defensive side of the ball, Nick Bosa, who we just gave a big contract, had 16 sacks, and Shamar Stewart had 11. That defensive scheme change really helped us out on defense. And our matchup in the divisional round is the New York Giants, the #7 seed. They went 9-8 in the regular season, trying to have like another Eli Manning moment here, destroying the Packers in the first round. I feel like we should have no trouble with this team, but we will see. 13-4, #1 seed in the playoffs, way higher overall than them. I just want to make sure we can take care of business here, but 10-0 early, the Giants are going to answer with a touchdown, and it looks like we might have turned it over. They're going to tie it up before half, and actually, we still couldn't score. So we are moving it down the field, I believe, and settle for 3. 13-10 as we approach the fourth quarter, kind of a close ball game here, but again in the red zone, can we capitalize? 20-10. 2017, the Giants quickly answer. 27-17 should put this one out of reach, and the San Francisco 49ers are moving on to the NFC Championship game. Once again, there's Kyle Shanahan dapping up Kittle and Fred Warner, still a part of this team. And in the NFC Championship game, another rematch. This time it's going to be in Levi's Stadium, but against the Philadelphia Eagles. And their overall is 6 behind us. The Eagles are going to score first 3-0, but we do respond with a touchdown. It is 7-3, but they're having their way early on against our defense. Can we add some points before half? We cannot. It's still 10-7. 4th and 4, we are going to go for it and take the lead. Kind of a sneaky big play there. And again, we're moving it down the field, trying to extend the lead. We cannot. The Eagles have the ball at the 18-yard line with just over 2 minutes to go. They don't have to snap the ball here. And they are, though. It's going to be a handoff to Saquon Barkley, and he's going to pick up the first down. A back-breaking play from our defensive line there, knocking him off the field. This first play from Hurts underneath to Goddard, I believe, for 5 yards. Has been the best defense in the league all season. Do they have one more goal line stand in them? Hurts is going to run for this one. Bottled up. I don't know why we're not using any timeouts. I just hate how the CPU kind of manages the game in sim. But here we go, 3rd and goal. Hurts again. Bosa is going to get after him, and Hurts is going to take a huge sack by Shamar Stewart. And the 49ers are 1 play away from going to the Super Bowl. Nick Bosa lining up in the interior of the defensive line. He's going to get there, and the pass is well short, and that's going to just about do it here. The 49ers in a defensive battle are going back to the Super Bowl, and we will see if it's another game against the Chiefs. And the Chiefs lost 35-24, so we're going to be facing off against the Baltimore Ravens in a rematch of the Harbaugh Bowl. This is going to be a good one in the 2028 postseason. Do we finally have it in us to go all the way this year? No score at the end of the first quarter. We are finally seeing some points here. It's 7-3. The Ravens are moving it on our defense, but we did get a crucial stop there. 7-3, 7-6. We just can't find the end zone. The Ravens are going to make it 14-6. We're going to answer 14-14. Let's hop in here against Lamar Jackson and this Ravens offense and try and get a stop. They are approaching field goal range. Does somebody on our defense have a play in them? A turnover here would be absolutely huge. Lamar's dropping back. He's going to fire outside the numbers here to Travion Henderson, who takes a big hit, bounces off it though. But he did go out of bounds. So we do keep all 3 timeouts. Lamar's getting handed off here to Henderson. He's going nowhere. We're going to call that timeout. And the Ravens, they do have a new kicker, not Diddy Tucker. And this one is going to be good. They take the lead. And now a legacy moment for Purdy. Down by 3, 1:40 to go in the Super Bowl. Can he get it done? First play to Ashton Jeanty, the key of this rebuild. First down. At the 41 now. Firing across the middle of the field to Brandon Ayuk for another 9 yards. We still have plenty of time. Just need to take care of the football. Cross the middle of the field again. George Kittle, incomplete. We have our tight end to Clark, but Ayuk is open once again on that little mesh route. Gonna start to go no huddle. We have less than a minute. We still have around 50 yards to go. And we're going to need a chunk play, I believe. Across the middle of the field here to Clark, our tight end too. No huddle again. Probably should have used a timeout there. We're under 30 seconds. George Kittle on the little corner route. He's caught it. Timeout. Madden wants to try and run it. I don't know if the Ravens will use their timeouts, but let's try to get Jeanty in the end zone. And Jeanty, he's got the angle. Ashton Jeanty, maybe the walk-off touchdown in the Super Bowl. The Baltimore Ravens have 8 seconds. They do have all 3 timeouts, but I feel really good about our star-studded defense to make one play here on Lamar Jackson. Nick Bosa or somebody get home. He did, but Lamar's going to fire it downfield, and it's going to be swatted away. 2 seconds remaining. The final play of this Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson is going to be hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. The San Francisco 49ers in year 4 of this rebuild have won the Super Bowl. We are finally back on top. We got so many of our key veteran Super Bowl rings. And Ashton Jeanty with the walk-off touchdown. And in unbelievable fashion, Ashton Jeanty did in fact win Super Bowl MVP. This whole video has kind of come full circle with us drafting him, trading away CMC, now him winning Super Bowl MVP, having the walk-off touchdown. It's pretty cool. But here's a final look at our Super Bowl roster. It is absolutely loaded. Brock Purdy's a 98 overall. Jeanty, 99 overall superstar X Factor. The offensive line is really, really good. On the defensive side, so many key trades, including Malachi Starks on draft day. We traded for Stort. We drafted Nolan. I mean, just such a well-rounded defense and team. 91 overall and 92 overall defense. A loaded roster and a pretty fun rebuild with a lot of trades in key draft decisions. But that is going to do it for me. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought about the rebuild and what idea or team I should do next. But subscribe to the channel if you are new. Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in my next one.